Right, so there's not much in the world of video games that hasn't already been talked about. It either has to be niche or just a bit random. And I think this video hits both those check marks. The reason behind making this video is that I've always had a fascination with abandoned places. I'm not sure what it is about them. Maybe it's the fact that a place that holds so many memories for people can just one day be left to be reclaimed by nature. Or maybe it's just that there's no queues for any of the rides. Either way, I think they're captivating, and it got me thinking about video games with abandoned theme parks and how many of them are actually out there. So, if for some reason you're as interested in finding out as I am, watch this video as we investigate abandoned theme parks in video games. So the game that initially inspired this video is a game called The Park. It's a spin-off from the MMORPG The Secret World, a game I'm unfortunately unfamiliar with. It's a psychological horror game, where a mother searches for her child in a theme park they just visited and has now deteriorated and been left abandoned. The reason as to why it gets abandoned is alluded to, including the park's mascot killing a teenager with an ice pick and disappearing children. But I won't go too much into the lore of this game, I just want to talk about the game itself. This is one of those games that I feel has been made for me. I love horror games and I love abandoned theme parks, so how could I not check this game out? The atmosphere is mwah, chef's kiss. There's a real sense of unease throughout the game, and the little bits of information throughout kept me hooked. As each ride you go on, the character reflects on their memories of the park. And I just love all these environments and being able to explore them. You've got a Ferris wheel, bumper cars, a freaking roller coaster with a child collision midway, a very rare feature I might add, and you get to ride each one. Whether it's a creepy Hansel and Gretel ride where they eat the witch at the end.
And then, because even children can't survive on sweets, they divided up the body of the old witch and ate her.
Or this cool looking Octotron thing. The only thing I don't like is how some of the rides are too nice looking. I like the aesthetic of rusting metal and flaking paint, but a lot of these are still looking fresh. But I don't think that's a fair point against the game, it's just a personal preference. This game is unfortunately a short one at about an hour long, so it may not be worth full price, but if you see this on sale I'd definitely recommend it. As walking simulators go, this one does the genre justice. I love the story and the ending gets pretty twisted. There's also a dedicated Jason button too, which isn't implemented into enough games.
Mommy needs to see you, Callum. Don't hide from me, Callum. Callum!
Except here it acts as a guide to show you where to go next. Won't stop me spamming it either way.
Callum. Callum. Callum!
Speaking of video games, the opening level of Hitman Blood Money takes place in an abandoned amusement park on a pier, and even explains why it's abandoned. A Ferris wheel falls apart due to bad maintenance and claimed the lives of 36 people, leading to a media frenzy, lawsuits and the county closing the park. Unfortunately, while it's an interesting introduction, there's not much else to it. The only thing that really stands out is what remains of the Ferris wheel and this old carousel. Other than that, it could pass for an abandoned anything. Movie theatre? Warehouse? The barn where my hopes and dreams were taken and shot? Literally anything. There's a few bits and pieces here and there, but nothing gives me that abandoned park vibe I'm looking for. It's also not a good level. The rest of the game's pretty good, but this one, not so much. Take me to the decrepit rides, you slut! Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare is worth a mention. A famous abandoned park is the one in Chernobyl. Abandoned for obvious reasons.
My eyes, the goggles do nothing.
There's not much to it. It appears briefly in the All Gillied Up mission, and there's a Ferris wheel and some bumper cars, but the level detail is really impressive. I'll leave a link to this comparison video in the description, as it shows the detail that went into replicating the area and other parts of this map. Unfortunately, if you're playing the game as intended, these are just a very quick piece of eye candy as you run past. But it's nice to think they went to this effort in case anyone wanted to take a closer look. Ooh. Oh ho ho! Now this is an interesting one. I don't know much about this game, but I do know that it's set in the midst of a proxy war between machines created by otherworldly invaders and the remnants of humanity. So whilst this park is filled with robots, it's been abandoned by humanity. I love the way this looks. This is what an abandoned park should look like. There's tram tracks, decaying park rides, and all the buildings look like they belong to a once beautiful park. I think this game is worth buying just for this part alone. Even though the effect is a small one, I love the bits of grass growing up everywhere. I'm not really a fan of the atmosphere because it's not going for the eerie one that I'm after, but you get to platform on decaying rides. Look at it, you can't tell me that's not cool. Also, the inhabitants of the park are friendly and consist of happy little robots. Granted, you can kill them if you want for precious XP, but otherwise they're just chill dudes to guide you on this epic adventure. Want to know how I know they're friendly? Because in the comments of this walkthrough, people are up in arms at the guys killing them. So if you ever plan on playing this game as like a let's play or a stream, make sure you don't kill the robots. Learn from this guy's mistake. Hey, ever heard of a small indie game called Left 4 Dead 2 made by a group of guys called Volvo? Yeah, me neither, but this game has a decent level called Dark Carnival that features an abandoned park. At least abandoned by the living. There's a mountain of zombies there, but other than that it's abandoned. Unfortunately, judging by the lights being still on, and all the rides being in fairly good condition, it's only recently become abandoned. So there's only a few bits of decay to give me the abandoned feels. Which is a real shame because I always loved this level when playing it with friends, and there's so much to it. You go through a tunnel of love with holes in the roof, you then go behind the scenes and see where they keep the backup swans if a swan was to ever go rogue. I swear I'm just making this video for myself at this point. I don't think anyone can relate to this, but it's stuff like this where you're on a rusted slide and you can just run down it that appeals to me. If I came across this slide at an empty park, hell yeah, I'm going to go down that. It also helps that Left 4 Dead is a brilliant game. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that. The controls are fantastic, the weapons are great, it's just a lot of fun all round. So the next game on the list is an in-development indie title called Karna Valley. It describes itself as a first-person psychological horror set in an abandoned amusement park / carnival. Sounds like it'll fit the theme of this video, so I checked it out. I don't want to sound too harsh when describing this game, as it was made by one person under the name Janky Games, but I wasn't impressed by this game. Like the fog, it looks nice in the beginning, but later it gets too thick to the point where it looks like a white wall that just moves with the player. It just looks like the player's permanently in the eye of a storm. And then there's the dialogue. This forest, it wasn't like this. The trees were lush and full of life. Does winter not exist in this universe? And then there's the damn flashlight. We're told to search the cave for it, which I did for about 10 minutes before giving up and looking it up online. Want to know where it was? Well, you probably guessed one thing, it wasn't in the cave. And secondly, it's here. Don't see it? Neither do I! You can barely see it in this pitch black game, and it doesn't stand out at all. Apparently this is being fixed for the next update, so props to him for actually listening to feedback. Unfortunately, as you've probably seen in the footage shown, there's very little abandoned park content here. But hopefully as the game gets further developed, there'll be more to see. So I'll check back in on it at a later date. So very quickly, there's a few honourable mentions that I didn't think warranted a full segment, such as The Surge, with its A Walk in the Park level. It's similar to Neir Automata's level where it's been abandoned by people, but still has game inhabitants in there. Whatever the enemies in Surge are, I've never played it. It's a very vibrant place and it looks like a lot of fun, so may check it out another time. There's an abandoned dinosaur park in PUBG, which looks pretty cool. There's also the amusement park in Silent Hill 1 and 3, but they're more demonic than abandoned. The meat hook carousels look good enough to eat, but they're not the aesthetic I'm after. So this last game on my list was recommended to me by the one and only TreyGamer58. You should go check him out, by the way. He made a great video with this really cringy YouTuber over on his channel. Anyway, this game, Hello Guest, is a prototype from the team that brought us Hello Neighbor Hide and Seek, and Secret Neighbor, where you play a security guard protecting an abandoned amusement park. You scare away these trespassers damaging the property whilst avoiding the freaky crow dude who I'm assuming is a neighbour. I really like the concept for this game. Whilst it's only a prototype, there's a fun game here. You avoid this enemy while scaring off the trespassers, and if you fail to find them, you lose money fixing the damages done to the park. I love how terrified these guys are too. They'll yeet themselves over the nearest wall the second you see them. Then at the end of the night, you're shown how much property damage there was, and you go to a store to buy a few bits and pieces for the next day with the money you have left. The area you explore in this game is interesting with its various twisted rides. Granted, it's a bit too filled with these copy-paste stalls around the place, but the rides and the metal dividers and everything really give off the abandoned park feel I'm searching for. The only thing that stops me from enjoying this is the main enemy in the game that I mentioned earlier. How he works is when you're not looking, he sneaks up on you, so you have to face him with a flashlight and then he'll run away. But the second you turn around, he's back on you. The first time it's a bit amusing, even maybe a little bit scary. But the next 100 times of turning around to dispel the demon after walking 2 freaking feet forward isn't fun anymore. I just want to imagine I'm alone in this amusement park, lost to time. How can I do that with this guy on me like an anti-vax mom's child on an obituary page? and after you've been caught you go back to your security cam for some reason, and the screen is in permanent Parkinson's mode as this annoying screen shake doesn't go away. I apologise for any motion sickness you get from this video, but the majority of my footage from this game looks like this. Hopefully they change up the mechanics of this guy for the full release, because if they do they've got a really solid game on their hands that I'd buy in a heartbeat. Thanks for watching, and if you have any other abandoned parks I missed, please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe if you somehow made it to the end of this video. My video topics vary wildly though, so I can't guarantee I'll ever make anything like this again. The next video will probably be another SpongeBob review or something because I just can't help myself. Also shout out to Sanchi01 for being my first and only channel member. Check his channel out in the description below, he makes some great meme videos. Right, that's that then, see you in the next video. Bye!